Mega Man. We all like the Blue Bomber, right? Wow, I guess you actually do. Thanks for the support on that video, by the way. With that said, hey everybody, and welcome to my final Sage 2022 video. It's time to take a look at some of the fan games with our hero in blue. Sure, it's almost 2 months later, but hey, better late than never. I'm genuinely excited about some of the games in this video, so let's get to it after we hear a word from our sponsor. If you're looking for a new PC, good news. We've partnered with Apex Gaming PCs to bring you all some pretty sweet systems. Whether you're looking for something modest, wanting to go overkill, or wanting something in between, we've got you covered with 3 pre-built PCs that myself and Apex Gaming PCs have worked on together. You can go with the Chaos PC, Super PC, or the Master PC. And I'll be honest, the names are pretty great. It's almost like they should use these names for some kind of stone or gem or something like that. Anyways, you can use the discount code GottaBeFrank for up to $250 off your purchase. With that said, let's get to the video. We're gonna go all over the place with the Mega Man universe timeline, which makes me sad because, well, never mind. Mega Man Zero Online is a multiplayer versus mode similar to that of Mega Man 7. The demo I played has Zero and Harupia as playable characters and 1 level. For what little content is available, there's a lot of potential with this project. I played this with GottaBeFrank, and we were going on and on about how great it felt to control, what we would include, and any oddities that we found in our 3 rounds. I think a bigger map with like health pickups and everything would probably make it more frantic. But then again, I would say like randomize where the health items are.
It feels good. Like, I think what's good about this is that they clearly spent time getting it to feel like Mega Man Zero, except I really want the spinny attack in the air.
Yeah.
You know,
or make that like a special move, like if you charge it up enough.
Yeah, let me charge it. That's fine, because he's already got other moves like this. It's like almost like Smash Bros.
Yeah. All they got to do now is just kind of like set up the matchmaking, so that way it starts to. It kind of creates it as a lobby, so that way you both start at the same time instead of like somebody hosting the lobby and just waiting right here for someone to show up. And then just
also the ladders don't do anything.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I was like, oh, well, I can go up the ladder. No, it does nothing. Oh yeah, so I have
it's better to do wall kicks anywhere, I guess.
Yeah, I have it set up.
I know we used like a Mega Man health bar for this because it's Mega Man, but like also maybe a Mega Man health bar is not good for this. It kind of makes it go by too fast, you know?
Like, I would say like set it so that way you can put however much health you want. There's something I want to test. I have a theory about something. Like, can you hit someone through a wall?
Oh no, I tried. You can't do projectile through the wall.
No. Like your sword swing.
Well, that's something they need to fix. That was not okay. So you can't shoot projectile through the wall, but you can
slash through the wall. Of the 2 playable characters, Zero seems to be more combat ready of the 2, while Harupia is better suited to bait your opponent. Now that is probably an on-paper idea because our 1v1 devolved into us trading eliminations with a bit of shenanigans to score 10 eliminations.
X and ZX. But, you just teabag. You fucking douche.
If you want to see the 3 matches we played against each other, you can check out the video on Super Frank Plays. Yeah, that's right, that channel still exists. This is a really fun game to try out. I recommend checking out their Discord for updates on this fan game, and let me tell you, there is a lot coming to Mega Man Zero Online, and I cannot wait to try out the new content when it arrives. Maybe I can have a rematch with GottaBeFrank, who knows. I just hope I can get a little bit better, because some of my deaths were... a little embarrassing. And here is the curveball. Now, this is not a Mega Man fan game by any means. This is actually an indie game based on the gameplay of classic Mega Man called Prototype N. The game stars Nadine, a prototype robot of unknown origin going around blasting other robots that were causing all kinds of hell. She has access to her normal blaster and the choice of 4 sub-weapons that can be found throughout the 7 levels that span 3 worlds in this demo. The only downside to this is that you can only carry 2 at a time, so you have to pick and choose which ones you want to carry with you. Unfortunately, there are no bosses at the end of these worlds, but that'll come at a later date. Her Plasma Blaster is a very useful weapon, and you don't have to mash the crap out of the button to shoot them. It does it automatically, so that saves my thumb. She can also dispose of enemies with her slide, and honestly, I don't understand how the Mega Man series has not adopted something like this outside of a sub-weapon. I'm pretty sure you go fast enough to do some kind of damage, even if it's not a lot. You could always have it where you slide into an enemy and it bounces you back a little. Actually, sliding and jumping in Prototype N is pretty snappy. The sub-weapons provide me one of two uses depending on the weapon, doing more damage to enemies, which mostly results in destroying them in one hit, or opening up secret paths for collectibles. That's the other thing. This game has gems to collect and data chips. They don't serve much purpose right now, so we'll have to wait and see what they do when future updates come in. The game isn't overly difficult or anything, but going through every nook and cranny will take a few minutes, so it does take some time to see everything that it has to offer. It even looks and sounds nice. I mean, check it out. I know I didn't pay much attention to that, but the gameplay had me hooked. Give this one a shot. I want to get this one out of the way because I don't have much to say that is positive, unfortunately. I actually thought Mega Man Power Adventure was going to be some fan version of Mega Man The Power Battles, but no, it's a beat-em-up that has many characters in the series, which is kind of cool. Some of the assets look fine, but others don't look so great. And I hate to say this, but the gameplay's a bit monotonous, where you're beating up the same few types of Sniper Joes and other enemies. The game does throw in a vehicle level to change it up, but aside from that, the levels are going to be really long, and there isn't enough variety in the moves and enemies to make it fun to go through. It does support 3-player co-op, so that might make the experience a lot better. There are extra modes, but I'd have to beat the game to find out, and unfortunately, the game didn't hold my attention long enough for me to see it through to the end. I'm sorry, but I found this one very mindless. If you want to try it out, go for it, but this one's not for me. Some of my favorite Mega Man titles are the Mega Man X titles on Super Nintendo. When I saw Mega Man X8 16-bit, I was curious to see how the game is translated to the look and feel of the first few games. And I'm gonna say it, this demo is freaking awesome. It feels so damn good to control, and I felt like I was playing an official demake or something. What's funny is that I tried to play the original X8 to see if it was accurate to it, and I'm happy to say it's not, because X8 never felt this fun to play. You can even mess with the debug menu for higher frame rates and access to the armors. My personal favorite one is the Icarus armor. I mean, look at that charge attack. There's another level that's in it through the debug menu, but it's not as complete. I say give it a shot. If anything, just to go around as an overpowered X, because look at this. It's so cool. Mega Man The Sequel Wars is basically Mega Man The Wily Wars for Mega Man 4 through 6. Well, I would say that, but this game feels so much better to control than the original Wily Wars. More on that in the next Mega Man video, which you actually should like and subscribe for. Please do. You have access to all of the sub-weapons of the 3 games, even though the game really gives you 5 stages. I'm going to say it, this feels mostly official in the best way possible. The music is fantastic, which you actually do get options for it. One has the enhanced music, while the other one tries to go for something that is a little more authentic to the Wily Wars sound font. Aside from that, I had an absolute blast going through these levels, even the ones that I'm not very familiar with. If this game is a bit tough for you, there is the option to remove lives so you can see the whole game to the end. If all that Mega Man goodness wasn't enough, there's a mini game in here called Metal Party, and this is my favorite. At first, I actually had no idea what was going on, but it was quick to pick up. It's a competitive mode where you play as a Metar, which are these little metal guys with the helmets, and the goal is simple: survive. What are you trying to survive against? The Robot Masters from this demo. Thankfully, the little guys have great mobility, as you can run and jump to avoid projectiles. Not only that, but your means of offense is this pulse attack that can push your opponents into dangerous spots. But they can also do this to you, so knowing the patterns of the bosses is a huge plus. The first of 3 is the winner. I would play more of this, but playing against 3 CPUs is not as much fun as it seems. I bet this would be a lot of fun with 4 actual players. And that's what you get out of this. You get a solid Mega Man project with a fun minigame. Mega Man Uprising's demo somehow integrates the boss rush into the story. 4 Robot Masters under the influence of a larger character kidnap Dr. Wily, and now it's time for Mega Man, Proto Man, or Bass to drop in and eliminate them. Once they do, Dr. Wily claims that his plan is ready, but that's where the demo ends. Visually, this game is really nice. The bosses do include Rotoman, Swoop Woman, Scuttle Woman, and Defend Woman. That last one sounds more like a mistranslated command rather than a Robot Master. Anyways, after defeating the first one, Otto drops in and opens up his shop. You can trade in the screws you pick up for full health, an E-Tank, or a sub-weapon tank. Fighting the bosses is a bit odd. While, yes, you can remap the controls in-game, it still felt a little off. I felt like I couldn't utilize the game's movement to the fullest extent, because there were times where it felt like my inputs wouldn't register properly. In fact, there was a time where I was hastily trying to bring out an E-Tank so that way I can use it, and it just wouldn't let me do it. It was super frustrating to deal with. Not only that, but what is this background? What's the point of having this except for possibly burning into your display? Honestly, I would just prefer if there was nothing here. Anyways, back to the game, it's still good for a challenge. I wish the controls were a bit snappier. On top of that, the attack patterns take a bit to adjust to, but thankfully there are infinite lives. What makes it better is that the weapon energy drops respawn after every death, so you do have to travel a little bit, but you can refill all of your energy if you happen to die. Once you beat the 4 Robot Masters, you're given the chance to rebattle all of them to go for a high rank. The S rank is a pain, and I only managed to do it once as Base, who happens to shatter the entire game with his rapid shot. Speaking of Base, what the hell is with this character portrayal? It's like they made him edgy for the sake of being edgy, almost like Shadow the Hedgehog's modern characterization. I wanted to make some kind of comment of calling Swoop Woman Rouge the Bat, but Base is the real Sonic character comparison. I mean, look at him with Roll here. Does he even care about her? Oh, God. Look, this game is a neat setup, and it's fun when you get around the odd-feeling controls. Give it a go if you think you're up for the challenge. Before we get into the next 2 games, I just want to say I left them for last because I think they run off the same game engine, and because I wanted to talk about them, I know I'd be repeating myself. These being Mega Man Shattered Diamond and Mega Man 4 Hounds. I bring them both up because these games are an absolute dream to play. I feel like I'm in complete control of my movement. Basically, inject the damn thing into my veins. But you know what? Let's just get into the games. The first one is Mega Man 4 Hounds. The story is that Mega Man is walking Rush only to find Dr. Wily heading to Dr. Light's lab, and runs in that direction. Proto Man stops him briefly and brings along Base. Yes, you can play as all 3 of these characters. After defeating a giant spider, 4 robots show up. These are the 4 Hounds. Their designs are interesting, but there is one who looks straight out of Mega Man ZX or something. Her design's badass. For the sake of this video, I played as Mega Man. Proto Man is a bit of a glass cannon, and Base's angle shots are cool, but there are times where the charge attack works out a lot better. Just pointing this out, this game is beautiful. The quality of the sprites, the environments, the animations are just a sight to behold. I love that this game is able to take a casino environment and look fantastic. Scorch Woman's stage is just beautiful. It has this wonderful sunset, and I love it. Static Man's is the only one that I'm a little mixed on. Some parts are fine, but the square tile in the background is a bit disorienting. Audio-wise, I love it. The music is absolutely fantastic. You can even switch between a chiptune and an arranged soundtrack. You can't go wrong with either one. As for levels, I'm also a bit mixed. The opening level is fine, but in Smirkman's level, these dice that break into cards were my biggest issue. It's like the mini birds in Mega Man 2, but the difference is that the dice cannot be destroyed. Static Man's level can be a bit too heavy with the trial and error moments. The rollerblading part is such a cool concept, but the number of deaths really got annoying. It could also be due to the switch that you have to shoot that switches from red to blue. Neat idea, just needs a bit of tweaking. Scorch Woman's level was the most annoying to play. What killed me the most is this fire, because once you fall in, you can't get out. It almost feels like quicksand, so you might as well just go for the instant death right there rather than having to wait an extra second or 2 to die. I hate this one. It has some other cool ideas, but the instant death fire got to me. Now, you probably think I got a couple of game overs in this, but actually, I didn't. In my playthrough, something crazy happened. In Smirkman's level, there's a slot machine near the end, and it supplied me with so many lives that it was inevitable for me to actually beat the demo. I mean, look how many lives I had! That, and you have access to auto shop at the end of each level, or whenever you get a game over, so it's a little hard to get game overs if you know what you're doing, or if you have incredible luck like I did. The bosses are tough, but they're about what you would expect for Robot Masters. I love the ideas that this game introduces, but I'd recommend making a few tweaks to some enemies or the levels to make it less cheap. It just felt like something was out to get me whenever I tried to go for a jump. It reminded me of Mega Man 3 in a way. Still a good one to try out, but it's a little rough. Mega Man Shattered Diamond is my personal favorite. Like I mentioned earlier, it seems to run on the same engine as 4 Hounds, so you know how I feel about the controls. It's another good-looking Mega Man game, with Switchman's stage being my absolute favorite. I'm just gonna go out and say this, the developers did a great job of developing levels to be less cheap, and actually had some cool twists on pre-existing tropes. And in this, my favorite has to be the disappearing blocks in Switchman's stage. Alright developers, you got me to like this obstacle. GG's. Later in the level, there's these blocks that illuminate the room when you step on them, and I think this is well executed. It's really cool. I find Breeze Man's obstacles to be a little annoying, but it's an all-wind gimmick kind of thing, so I never liked it to begin with. It's nothing on the developers, I just don't like wind gimmicks. At least the blimp enemies were fun to defeat. Jungle Man is brutal. That's mostly what I took away from this aside from the mud. It's well designed, but easy to manage. There's a couple of other things I enjoyed in the game, including adding numerical values for damage, which is a neat touch. I'm not exactly sure what purpose it serves, but I'm sure somebody will find some use for it. You can customize the game to make it more beginner-friendly. In fact, I was playing the whole game with infinite lives. You can also go with limited lives as well, but for me, jumping into a level with base was probably not a good idea when I have that enabled. The music is great, the visuals are nice, and the gameplay is a bunch of fun with decent gimmicks. Act surprised for this. Play this one. So yeah, I walked away from these fan games more excited to play more of the series. I probably came off as repetitive because there was a lot to like about it. I need to go down the rabbit hole of Mega Man fan games at some point because there's a lot that is worth trying out. Who knows, I might make it into a video one day. Why not? But for now, if you want to try out all of these games, there's going to be a link in the description. Feel free to check them out. Feel free to follow the developers as well. With that, the Sage 2022 saga on this channel is officially over. Now we can get back to the official stuff. While I do have a non-Mega Man video that I'm committed to for the next upload, the next time we meet up for Mega Man, it's going to be the Wily Wars. And I'm being serious on this one. We're going to look at Mega Man the Wily Wars, and I promise it won't take a couple of months to do this. I think that's about it. Hey everyone, thanks for watching today's video. Again, if you want to watch the Mega Man Zero online matches, check out the second channel. It's there. If you enjoyed the video, you can like or sub if you're new. At this time, I want to thank my supporters. These are the ones who are supporting the channel with a monthly contribution either through Patreon or YouTube channel memberships. The Chaos tier members have their names scrolling on the screen somewhere, but the Super tier members get a verbal shout out. They are Dork in a Hat, Martin White Tea Plays, and Ryan Wolfs over on Patreon. You can use the join button below this video, or you can go to patreon.com/GottaBeFrank. Lowest tier is $1, and you get stuff like exclusive updates and exclusive videos. They're finally coming. I have my social links below as well. Feel free to check those out. And with that said, I hope you all have a wonderful and safe day. And until next time, take care. I'll see you in the next one. Play some Mega Man. It's good.